St. Paul, The Fan.
Right now. Likewise for Ahmad Hicks with Fox 9 at Ahmad Hicks TV is where you learn more about him and follow his thoughts and his submissions via Twitter, or as the kids call X. And let's begin with this.
Grachalski has it from higher now, right wing, looking for their first points. And will it be on the heels of Grace Grachalski with the top of the key three? It will. Grace has her first basket. Gophers are on the board, trailing 9-3.
Justin Guard, play-by-play voice for the Golden Gophers women's basketball team with that call you just heard. Now, Ahmad has been in the market pert near a year and a half, correct? Mm-hmm. And as a sports reporter and host for Fox 9, does mega work for the 9 with the Minnesota Vikings and the Golden Gophers. And you heard that highlight leading to this first question. How did the coaches show with Guardsy, Mara Braun, and Dawn Plitzowite, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Plitzowite go yesterday, and good morning.
It went well. Good morning to you, and good morning to all the listeners.
Good to see you again, by the way.
Great to see you. It's been a while. But yeah, everything went well yesterday. I mean, for what it's been for this team the last, month and a half without Mara, it's been tough sledding, but the coach was pretty optimistic. They had a lot of high energy, a lot of, optimistic outlooks for next season and, hopefully the end of this season. So, it was as good as you can make it for a team that, hasn't won a game in quite some time.
Okay. So, Mara Braun, for those not familiar, who is she? What makes her good and or special? And what has she been through?
She's an elite scorer. That's what she is. She is the best player on the Gophers team. She is one of the only people on that team that can create her own shot. She's from the town. She's from Minnesota, went to Wayzata High School. So she's homegrown and she's just a bucket. I mean, last year as a freshman, she averaged 17 points a game. This year, she was up to 19 points a game before that injury. Mm-hmm. She had improved her numbers in every category possible and lowered her turnover. So, I mean, she was having a remarkable year, and the Gophers were 14-5 when she went down with that injury versus Illinois. So they were 14-5 before her injury, and right now they are 15-14.
Hey.
So you do the math. She was instrumental to this team's success, but not only Mara Braun, Sophie Hart. Sophie Hart was their big person, and so when big player, center down low. So when I hear all this fuss online about people like, everybody's like, oh my God, we should be worried about Coach Plitzowite and this team. It's like, all right, let's rewind here. This is a team that only had a 7-man rotation to begin the season. Their starters were averaging 34 minutes per game with one another. So you take out the only player that can create their own shot, and then you take out Sophie Hart, who can slow everything down. She can just get a post move, get a bucket, or pass it out to the wide open player. You take away two of those pieces, and then everyone's arguing about, well, they're not that good. We should worry about this. No, are you kidding me? They lost their two best players on a team that didn't have a rotation to begin with. So now they're forced to play 5 people, and they have no depth. It's tough sledding, but I think they have a really good recruiting class coming in next year. McKenna Johnson's a redshirt freshman on the team. She's a lefty shooter who can score just like Mara Braun, and they have another young woman who they're going to bring in from Minnetonka, I believe, next year. So look, I see the light at the end of the tunnel for this team. Dawn Plitzowite has been a winner everywhere she's been. And if Mara Braun and Sophie Hart didn't get hurt, this is a NCAA tournament team in her first year.
Nordo.
Hey.
I mean, the Tony Scott of women's college basketball.
We found him.
That knowledge.
Unbelievable.
Whether you like the game or know anything about the game or not, that knowledge, holy cow. That was beautiful.
And I love, too, because if we were talking about Gopher men's and we were talking about Pharrell Payne, and we'd be like, he's the big man on the court for the team. Well, you can't say big gal. It's got to be big player. And so I appreciated all the intel. I didn't even thought of that. So
beautifully handled. And if you follow Ahmad via Twitter, which I do, and which 9 to Noon does, at Ahmad Hicks TV, You will have noticed about this time last week, in fact, a little less than a week ago, at Ahmad Hicks TV, Fox 9 reporter, host, and so on, that, how am I going to put this? You were all up in your feelings. All right, 3-2. You were all up in your feelings with those Caitlin Clark tweets last week. I mean, I could tell, seeing it live and then looking back at it yesterday, she was mesmerizing to you, wasn't she?
She was.
Like what she brings with the crowd and the whole thing.
Everything. I had to be there for that game. When the season started and I had that date circled on my calendar, I was like, she is must-see TV, appointment television. I watched more women's NCAA tournament last year than I've ever done in my life. Oh, wow. And I was super excited to watch her play this season and see her play in person. And from the opening tip, I mean, PA just coming down the court, lacing a 30-foot jump shot, getting an and one the very next play. But at the first TV timeout, it was 12-2 Caitlin Clark versus Minnesota. She's unreal. She's worth the hype. I mean, fans got their money's worth. I know people paid like $400 or $500 for a ticket at the barn. It was certainly worth it, that game, for sure.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, to that end. So whether it's almost traveling circus territory because it's absolute must-see, as amazing as she is, and she's setting every record in women's hoops, maybe even actually NCAA history, I should put it, regardless of gender. But what I'm interested in, so she's making all this cash, NIL, and I guess this much, I just hope it's a lot. Do you feel like in some ways with the fanfare that she gets now at Iowa, there were like rock stars, rap artists, they had to be feet on the floor to see this. In some ways, does the platform actually get lower when she goes to the WNBA? Because I feel like in some ways she'll go to the WNBA and then she's just another professional. Now it looks like she's going to be a phenomenal one at that. But in some ways, is the college platform, the college exposure for Caitlin Clark higher than what it will be when she gets to the WNBA?
I think if you would have asked that question 10 years ago, the answer would have been, like her platform would have, shrunk once she went to the WNBA. But I think women's sports is in right now, whether that's soccer, professional women's hockey that we're seeing here in Minnesota, you name it. Like there's just a boom in women's sports. And if you look at the Indiana Fever, who's probably going to take Caitlin Clark #1 overall later on this spring, they have already doubled their season tickets for next year in price. So that just lets you know the demand that she has. And people have this notion that, due to the NIL, when these women leave, playing in the NCAA, they're going to take a pay cut when they go to the WNBA, which is essentially true in terms of like how much they may make for salary from that team, but they carry all those endorsements that they have right now in college. So every endorsement that Caitlin Clark possibly has right now, she's going to continue and gain more once she gets to the WNBA, which means that she's going to make more money than what she's making right now. So her platform is only going to increase. She's probably going to get a signature shoe like Sabrina Ionescu did, from Oregon.
That's how you say that last name?
Ionescu.
Yeah.
So she's going to get a signature shoe more than likely. And then, so she's going to be a partner with a major brand like Nike, Adidas, or something like that. So Caitlin Clark is going to get paid when she goes to the WNBA.
Okay, now the WNBA, I believe, has a TV deal with ESPN.
I believe so.
Okay,
yes.
ESPN. Right. Well, now, I mean, the decision makers there, well, they're starting to already think like, where's she going to go?
Yep.
How often are we going to get them on TV?
Yep.
What are the new prices for ads going to be that we can sell?
Exactly.
And do we sell standard WNBA advertising, or do we have a Caitlin Clark package where Ahmad owns this company and, hey, you're going to come in for $750,000. All right, 400 of it's going to go here. 350 is going to go in only 10 spots. But they're going to be during Caitlin Clark games, and you're going to get into the first. I mean, that's how they're going to start talking, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think what we're just witnessing right now, PA and Nordo, is just like the explosion of women's sports and what's about to come in the years to come for not only just basketball and Caitlin Clark, but women's soccer and the numbers, the fact that the U.S. women's national team is now getting paid the same as the U.S. men's national team. Like, it's just letting you know, like, that pay gap is starting to level out for everybody. And I think Caitlin Clark, what she's done is she's bringing a lot of attention.
Let me stop that for a second.
Go for it.
So explain that to me. with the soccer piece you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how did that happen?
I think if let's rewind. You talk about World Cups, you talk about Olympics. Every time that the men's world team goes to the Olympics or the World Cup, they lose or they don't even qualify to make it to the World Cup.
But there might be 3 million watching.
There might be a lot of people watching. Whereas when you have the U.S. women's national team, there's just as many people watching.
Ooh.
There are just as many hungry soccer fans to watch the women, and they're more successful. And so my thing is, they said, hey, we're going out here, we're drawing just as many numbers as the men, and we're winning. They're losing. We need to be paid. We have all the accolades and all the banners, and you saw the equal pay gap for them now. And I think that's only going to get normalized as we move on, because the WNBA is expanding. They're announcing a team in Toronto coming. Golden State had just announced their own team. So we see 12 WNBA teams, but in the next 10 years, we may see 20 WNBA teams. Means more money, bigger TV deals, more players from college going on to the next level, and bigger crowds.
Ahmad Hicks, he's playing very fast. He's playing very fast on the radio today. At Ahmad Hicks TV, Fox 9, a sports reporter and host. You see him a lot during the Vikings season. You'll see him with coaches shows and things like that with the Gophers. I've been here about a year and a half, and he's making plays. Now, with Caitlin Clark, this is going to be an open-ended question, and then us three are going to play a baby game, unless the game is boring and it just keeps going on and it doesn't work. Caitlin Clark has brought the most attention to women's college basketball since. I mean, it's so I guess I'm looking for the OG or the OW, the original woman in that game. I mean, the names I wrote down, and we're going to eliminate these names from the baby game because we're saying them. Lisa Leslie.
Yeah.
Cheryl Miller.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, Cheryl Miller went to Altaloma High School in Southern California. When I played basketball in Southern California, I was a freshman when Reggie Miller was a senior at Riverside Poly High School. And Cheryl, went to Riverside Poly High School, closer to my age. So, I mean, like back in the mid '80s, you would read things about Reggie, and there goes Reggie to UCLA. And, I mean, the football players du jour who ended up in the NFL. But Cheryl Miller was atop the fold in the LA Times 50 times over 2 years. She was just killing people.
Right.
So that's like, wow, that captured the imagination of the nation. Before Twitter, ESPN was just starting, stuff like that. But I'm like, OG or OW, original woman, who brought this much attention to women's college basketball. Brittany Griner, would she be in there? Shamika Holdsclaw? I mean, Steckers?
Names that come to mind for me right now, Diana Taurasi.
Oh, that's a great name.
I mean, she was must-see television. Brianna Stewart.
Yeah.
Talking about another UConn Husky there. Those were the two who were just like, man, no matter what they did, you were like, they are just like legitimate ball players. Okay. And then Skylar Diggins.
There's never been anything like this.
No, not like Caitlin Clark.
What about going all the way back to like, this is, I'm a little bit older than you, Ahmad, not a ton, but like Cynthia Cooper in the 90s. I mean, I remember when the WNBA, the first incarnation of it comes, and it's the Houston Comets every freaking year. and I forget who played. There was a badass player for the New York Liberty at that time
Rebecca
as well.
Lobo.
May have been Rebecca Lobo. UConn Husky.
But then the list of UConn players, Maya Moore, and all of that, and Paige pre-injury and stuff. But I think about like Cynthia Cooper and kind of the initial fanfare. It faded over the 5-6 year period, but Cynthia Cooper and those Houston Comets teams in the 90s. I don't know.
That was just maybe a little bit before my time. And so I didn't know much about them, but I just know that have you guys seen that Nike ad that they put out about Caitlin Clark the other day? It was about 45 seconds long, but it started listing all of her accolades from her freshman season. I mean, 45-second commercial, that's really long.
Yeah.
But it was just nothing but accolades the entire commercial. And at one point, the voiceover guy had to take like a breath. He was like, hard. And then like more accolades. So it's like what we are witnessing from her. I mean, look, when I watched her play versus the Gophers the other day, I thought to myself, this was before she made the announcement that said she was going to the WNBA. There was no way she could come back for another year of collegiate basketball. It was too easy. Yep. It was just like me playing against third graders. Like that's what the pace was for her. Like she got to do whatever she wanted to do. If she wanted to score, she was turning down jump shots.
It wasn't like that against LSU in the championship. Was that last year?
It was last year against LSU. It was not like that against LSU. But this is a team, the Gophers team, that's not that good right now. So it was like a varsity four-year letterman playing against a freshman JV team. That's what it looked like the other day.
Let's let's play the baby game. Here's the game, and we're going to eliminate all those names that we just said. Let's each of us name a women's college basketball stud, and all three that most in the audience, all three or most in the audience would know. All right, so therefore, like Lisa Leslie, Brittany Griner,
sure,
like most in the audience, I believe have heard those names. Get off your phone, put your phone down, and you're not looking to the right.
I'm not.
All right, so I just know how the group plays. So we said Clark. We're eliminating all those other names we said.
Yeah.
And I will start with Lindsay Whalen.
Ooh.
But and the A topic here is the assumption we have to collaboratively come together on. Yeah, I believe that I certainly have heard of that person, and that people listening now at least have kind of heard the name.
I'll handle the bed, PA.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did I find the wrong one to start with? Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Did.
All right, so I got Lindsay Whalen.
I'm going to go Rachel Bannum.
I knew you were going that.
one.
That's such an easy one.
It's a
right
good
after.
Okay, but I mean the nation, like she was big nationally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know her.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going Skylar Diggins.
Tisha Penichero.
Oh, well, I was just going to keep picking Gophers to be on Janelle McCarville, Shannon Schoenrock.
No,
I don't think those were national stars.
Right, but I know you can come up with another one. I think you can at least.
I'm not. How about Sue Bird?
Ooh, good one.
That's a good one.
Hey,
that's where I was going next. Actually,
come on, stop.
that was in my queue.
No, you cheat. Okay, that's fine.
64686.
Yeah.
Bradshaw, Brian, text line.
Okay,
Anybody?
I got you. Go ahead, hurry. Let's fly.
Let's see. Crap. I'm trying to think. We said a lot of popular names earlier. Aaliyah Boston last year.
Who?
Aaliyah Boston. She was the number one overall pick.
Look at me. Of course I'm going to count it. I have no idea.
Okay, I'll take her back. Asia Wilson, South Carolina.
100%.
Yes.
A former frequent weekly guest on this radio show, Candace Wiggins.
Ooh.
You remember Candace Wiggins?
At LSU, right?
Next, yeah.
Was it LSU?
I thought Candace Wiggins was LSU.
Let's go.
I think.
Does that count?
I'll roll with it.
Go ahead.
Cheryl Swoops.
Oh, that's A+.
Candace Parker.
Oh, Tennessee. To Tennessee.
Yes.
To Tennessee.
Yes.
Lord, I really love Ahmad. Speech was the lead singer's first name. I loved Arrested Development. Oh, geez. It's my game, and now I'm stuck.
It is.
All right,
Mr.
3-2.
Wendell.
How about Mr. Wendell? Good song.
Elite song.
Yep. Can you play that next after
Tough
Across
subject.
110th Street by Bobby Womack? How about oh, geez. All right, 3.
Oh, I got my next one.
2. I'm going to go. Well, our current center was the bomb in college basketball. Oh, Sylvia Fowles. She was the bomb in college basketball. Do I get it or not?
No, I'll take it.
Thank you.
I'm completely out because I've
Thank
been
you.
obsessed for the last 45 seconds of trying to pronounce this one gal's name, amazing college player, and Agwabuke. Agumike.
Agumbawale.
Oh, she's the bomb.
Enrique
Notre Dame.
Agumbawale.
And watch this. She
Agumbawale.
played at Notre Dame.
Yeah, she's
yes,
incredible.
I remember. She was
Agumbawale, yeah.
unbelievable.
Agumike or something like that.
Agumbawale.
Right.
I believe it's Agumbawale.
Well, that's like a former Ravens running back.
And see, if that was a power forward or a center for an NBA team, we in passing could be like that beefeater in the middle.
What's her first name?
Nah, that's
I think it's Enrique or something like that. She game UConn.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. All right, what you got?
Kelsey Plum.
Yep, that counts.
Yep.
Onzarike played for the LA Sparks. Or okay, that doesn't count. Okay.
Anzari, I
You know what I'm talking about?
I would count it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
I
her
think we're
first
talking
name.
about the same person.
Yeah, Onzarike.
Possibly. Now we've had
And
three
it's
different
played us in the WNBA finals, and I was at a game.
Yeah, she did.
Onzarike counts.
Was Becky Hammond.
Oh, that's a hell of a name.
Was Becky Hammond. She's
you
coaching.
are cheating so hard right now. It's unbelievable.
How are you coming up with these names?
He's cheating, but that's fine.
Well, I'm going with someone who's playing right now. She'll be popular in this draft. Angel Reese. LSU.
Yep, I got it. Well...
Tick, tick.
3, 2, 1, I'm out. What do you got?
I have nothing. That's it. I'm out.
You don't know anymore?
Oh, not without blatantly cheating. No. I have nothing over here.
Did I say Tisha Penichero?
You did.
I did. There was another Wiggins. Sue Wiggins?
No, not
Candace.
that I know.
All right. Congratulations, you win. Well done. But your knowledge with Caitlin Clark and the Golden Gophers basketball team, women's basketball team, was pretty impressive.
It should be. I covered them all year.
They cut Madison. What do you think of Cam Akers?
I think this is a guy who we were all talking about. He was going to start getting more carries last season before he tore his Achilles. So I think this is a guy who he's a good back. I feel like to mentor Ty Chandler in terms of pass protection because Cam Akers can't do it all. Is he a superstar like Saquon Barkley, $45 million guy in the NFL? Probably not, but he's still really, really good. He's a valuable player, and I think he's a good 1-2 punch if they use it with Ty Chandler.
You think Cousins will be a Falcon by Monday? I mean, I'm not asking you if you have steam. I don't know where you get your background, with whom you chat, who would know. Well, we don't ever ask those questions. But I also respect your gift of discernment. So that's why I asked.
I think right now it's a game of chess and checkers. And I think the Vikings right now are trying to call Kirk's bluff. And they say, hey, if you think you're worth all this guaranteed money and you want $40+ million a year, go get it. And if you don't get it from anybody, we'll be right here. And we'll be ready for that discounted price when you come back. And Kirk's probably thinking like, look, I know teams that want me. And if they're going to give me what I want, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, at this point, I was telling you guys before we came on the air, this is a gladiator sport. And everybody saw Tom Brady for years take less money than what he deserved to build Super Bowl contenders around him. But look, dude, your body does not care about how many Super Bowls you won when you're 60, 70 years old. Like, you're going to need to pay for all this type of treatment and whatnot. So I don't think you ever sign for a discount when you can get as much money as you can for so long. You only have a certain window to get as much money as you can in the NFL or professional sports for that matter. And I think you just have to take it. So
yeah, I don't get into other people's money like that. I mean, if you look at the 200 whatever million Kirk has made during the course of his career before taxes, let's cut it in half, whatever, it's still 100 some odd million.
Yeah.
It's, people will say, when is enough enough? I mean, it's like, if you really like it here and you really think this team can win, a team friendly, doesn't have to be rock bottom discount, but maybe he already is considering that.
Well, I'll say this, enough is never enough, PA, in a sport where the salary cap is continuously going up. The NFL owners are getting richer and richer by day. And, everyone, Roger Goodell is making, $40+ million a year. So there's no, you should not be taking discounts at the National Football League. When you're putting your body on the line, you're getting beat up every single week. You should not be taking discounts. Just saying.
Hey, just put me in a box and a coffin. You want the good news or the better news?
Better news.
The better news is that you're going to stick around for another segment because you're playing fast and we're really enjoying your company. And I want to talk to you more about this and the Timberwolves. The good news is that we love you. It's Ahmad Hicks from Fox 9 at Ahmad Hicks TV into the
KFAN, the Fan.
Soft and warm, the quiet storm, KFAN. Are you loving Ahmad Hicks, Channel 9? Are you loving any of these rookie quarterbacks coming into the league? Whether you've studied them, I know you watch a fair amount of college football. I know that.
Yeah.
And you played it. And you played high school football at least, and got to Southern Illinois for an injury or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so you know what you're looking for. Are you loving any of these rookies?
Here's my thing with quarterbacks, and I think I'm going to have a hot take right here. I understand the need for NFL teams to draft quarterbacks and how everyone jumps up once.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Permit us to brace ourselves.
Yes, brace yourselves.
We don't hear that often around here, and I think I have a hot take here.
Get Madison here. We got some stuff we need to drill down.
Thank you. And it causes me to hearken to the last time somebody said to me in this studio, and it'll be the last time, here's the reality.
Right.
All right. I'm not going to say who the play-by-play. I backed off my chair and I'm like, hold on. I've waited 56, and I'm 58 now. I've waited 56 years for somebody to lay out the reality for me.
I'm just saying.
This is going to be big. So we just don't hear things like that very often.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really hate how like we get to March, April, right? And we're listening to Mel Kiper and all these people talk about these mock drafts and, this quarterback, blah, 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 blah. Like Drake May. Everybody's raving about Drake May. This is a guy who has not won a single thing in college, and everyone's making all the excuses in the world for him. Like we did it for Mitchell Trubisky. They do it every year for all these quarterbacks. And then it's just like you trade up, you get rid of all these assets, and you go get a guy, and you're like, well, we hope in 3 years he can be that guy.
Hold on. I sense a Callie McManus rip coming here, so hide the women and children just in case.
I'm just saying, and so my thing is like, if they're not a bona fide stud, I'm talking about taking their team to the college football playoff or the national championship every single year, then why are we jumping up in the first round to draft them in the top 15 or giving up 2-3 future first round picks for a guy who you hope to pan out? My thing is, the NFL draft should be in the first round should be about drafting home run hitters, guys that you know are going to make an impact on your team from day one. And so many teams are in love with going to go get a quarterback that they don't have any receivers for. They don't have a running back to block for them. They don't have an offensive line. And now that quarterback is his development is messed up. He's playing mental games with himself for the next 3 to 4 years, and he has to move on, kind of like a Justin Fields. Whereas you get a team around him. You go draft a good offensive lineman. You go draft a good defensive lineman. And then you go out and just go get you like a veteran quarterback who's maybe not a superstar, but you know what? You got a superstar receiver around him. You got a great offensive line around him. Now you just need him to go succeed. And if he doesn't succeed, that's when you go out and you go pay a Kirk Cousins type of guy to come in and have that type of success. So my thing is, I'm not in love with any of the rookie quarterbacks now. Caleb Williams, everyone keeps raving about him.
He's the bomb. He's going to be the bomb.
I think he's going to be the bomb.
And I don't I've never watched him play a full game. I've watched highlights.
I have.
Okay, but see, here's the deal with me, and I'm frontal and open about it. Is like I've met so many people over 20 years who know more about it than me.
For sure.
And then now through the course of the years, whether it's a coach, whether it's a personnel person outside of this covenant, I now have track records where it's like, all right, well, I asked this guy 10 things and like 3 of them have been right. 3 players have panned out. Well, I've asked this one, 5 and 4. I'm racetrack raised. Yeah. I mean, you give me the right answer 4 or 5 times, I'm on your doorstep when the draft rolls around, So that's how I play the game. And I've had the right people say to me from the combine last week, one guy stole it, because I'm not going to say who it is. One guy said to me right before I left, Caleb Williams will come into the NFL with this version of the Bears and their draft and their free agency money. He's going to be one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. He's going to be top 7 next year. And by the 3rd and 4th years, Mahomes better look in his rearview mirror.
Oh my gosh.
I made that last part up because he just tied it together nicely. But the first two was he's top 10 right now. And with the team with whom he's playing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they have to win all the games. It's just they know what they're looking for. They know how he adapts. They know how he changes. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I do my work.
Part of me understands that, PA, but I also think that, like, look, him going to that Chicago Bears team, you're talking about going up against a Lions defense that's one of the best in the NFL. You're talking about going up against Brian Flores and his defense and how he can confuse young rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. And then you're talking about the Packers who have Jordan Love. This is not going to be, that's 6 games right there. That's not going to be easy for Caleb Williams by no stretch of the imagination. So
but will it be easy for J.J. McCarthy, the soon-to-be quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Now, if winning at a high level and winning a lot of games matters to you, unlike like Drake May last time he played in a big game,
how did you win those games?
Who? JJ?
How did you win? Was it the
running
superstar
defense,
team around you?
Right, power running, vertical passing, emphasis on the power running. But he didn't get him beat.
There's just so many.
There's something to say for those who don't lead to you losing.
No, that is absolutely true. But as PJ Fleck said, that was the best Michigan. That's the best team he's ever seen in college football. That Michigan team. So take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
But here's my thing.
So you think we're getting Stetson Bennett if we get him, whatever the guy's name was?
I understand the need of drafting a quarterback, grooming and developing a quarterback, but I also don't believe in drafting a quarterback if you don't have all the pieces around him. And right now, the Vikings don't have a defense to go up and draft a quarterback, nor do they have an offensive line. So, I mean, they still have so many other holes to go fill before we go out and go get a quarterback that we're talking about 3 years of development on.
Yeah, I understand all of that.
They still do need a quarterback, but it's just I don't think you need to give up 2 or 3 first-round draft picks to go get one of these guys.
No, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, but I mean, here there are two underplayed. There's one major underplayed thing with the Cousins situation. Maybe it's not underplayed. Maybe I just missed it. But if and or when Monday hits with that legal tampering, and Atlanta, O'Connell's NFL Network thing over the weekend, which I'm sure you watched, because but it's when he said, even though it's not supposed to happen in Indianapolis, people do get together. It sounded to me like Kevin was saying he knew people got together. He knew outside of Cousins' signature on a line with a notary stamp that everything else is done. He seemed resigned to that. If that's the case, and Monday, boom, it pops, and Cousins is, say, an Atlanta Falcon. Tell me how, in any way, the Minnesota Vikings have not lost all leverage when it comes to trading, drafting, or finding a quarterback that's not currently on this roster. They've lost all leverage.
Well, I don't think they necessarily lost leverage because I think this is the game they wanted to play. I think they want Kirk Cousins back, but only at their price.
Right.
And so when Monday rolls around, if he does indeed sign with Atlanta, they're like, all right, cool. Well, now we're going to put all our chips in this hat and we're going to go get a quarterback that we want in this draft. Now, like I just said, I don't think they should give up a ton of assets to go get this quarterback.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because there's so many needs.
Well, go ahead and call Atlanta, right, which has a quarterback. Hey, man, do us a solid. You just
swap it out.
The Chargers who have Herbert or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're idiots if they don't look at it like we can squeeze an extra third out of them because they're desperate and they've put themselves in a corner.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Somebody explain to me if Cousins leaves on Monday, how this team has not painted itself in a proverbial corner when it comes to calling other teams and them being like, no, we'll go with somebody else unless you give us that because we know you have to have it.
Here's my bold take. I think they're like, all right, if we don't get Kirk, we save a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed money that we can go out and we can go
eventually,
and that they can go out and go pay a lot of other players defensively to help make this team better. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that they're looking at it right now, double-edged sword. If we get Kirk back, we're good because we know with TJ Hockenson coming back, Justin Jefferson, Cam Akers, Ty Chandler, this team can still be really good offensively next season. But if they don't get him back, they're like, all right, well, now we can shift our attention to maybe Daniil Hunter. Maybe we can give Justin Jefferson his $30+ million for 4 years or whatever. Then we can go out and go get us a cornerback or something like that. You know,
that's great.
Build the team.
And then you don't have a quarterback, what do you have?
But who's to say that you can't get somebody with the 11th pick?
Oh, no, I think you can.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to wait, and then you got to be right.
Right.
I mean, Cousins, before you got here, when you were, it was not Kirkwood High School days, but it was the formative stages of your TV run before you went to Jackson, Mississippi, and I have all your albums. Cousins in 2018 kept throwing it to Minka Fitzpatrick and P.J. Williams, and he was throwing it to the wrong team, and they kept getting to the end zone.
He was.
It wasn't great. All right. Well, the new offensive coordinator didn't even make it a year on a new shiny toy deal. He got fired before the year was up. Stefanski comes in, first game, because Zimmer was upset the coordinator wasn't running. Well, first game against Miami, they run for like 225. Dalvin goes for like 150 with Stefanski. Look at Stefanski, two-time coach of the year now. So then it all started to roll for Kirk.
Yeah.
When he was so they've put a lot of time and a lot of resources and a lot of mind work
for sure
into raising this man to be top 7, 8, 9, 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Which he has been the last 2 years.
Correct. So now you just have to be ready to go back.
But you have to ask yourself, PA, go back to the year. The year they lost to the Giants in the opening round of the playoffs. That was not Kirk's fault. He had a phenomenal game. The defense just didn't do well. Correct. But my thing is, Kirk can't go to the Super Bowl. This team can't get over the hump unless everything is perfect around him. And if everything is not perfect around him, why are you investing $30+ million a year for a quarterback that's only won you one playoff game in 6 years and racked up $150 million guaranteed?
I'm with you on that.
That's what I'm saying.
I am with you on that.
I tell people all the time here in Minnesota, people are like, oh my God, this is, Harrison Smith, my favorite player, or Adam Thielen, we can't let him go. It's like, are you married to players that are great in in the community, or do you want to be married to a player that's going to bring you your first Super Bowl? Because you can't have both. And while Kirk has been a class act guy here in the Minnesota community,
you can have both, but I know what you mean.
Exactly. You got to go get you a Super Bowl. Well, that's a rare diamond.
No, but I'm saying Mahomes is dynamite off the field, dynamite on the field.
Right, and it's rare that you get both. So he hasn't brought you a championship. He's only brought you one playoff win. He's made a ton of money. Now it's time to go see if he can go win in Atlanta. I guarantee you he won't go win more games than the Vikings in Atlanta. You know, if they bring in a decent quarterback and bolster this defense, like Minnesota's still going to be a more competitive team than Atlanta, I feel like. So
check that division, though.
Yeah, that's very true. That division is trash, but Kirk does.
All right. Now, look, everybody's playing faster than me, and that includes Tony Scott because I'm sad. So I'm going to say goodbye, and let's make a habit of this if you have time. Bring you back in every so often.
I'm always available when you need me.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Ahmad.
Thank you.
Ahmad Hicks, Fox 9, at Ahmad Hicks TV via Twitter. Wrapping the show.
.com. The Fan.
Alec Lewis, who covers the Minnesota Vikings for The Athletic, tentatively will join us at about 11 o'clock tomorrow, maybe a little earlier. But in texting with YA young Alec, he's a tiny bit under the weather right now, and he just realizes that it's a tough time to be under the weather if you're on the Cousins conundrum beat, because it's all I and or many people think about.
Yep.
Everybody who was included on this radio show today, sans me, played faster than the host, because the host has circled his metaphorical mental gymnastics wagons around moving forward sans Cousins. And you know, and it's, I haven't been told he ain't going to be on the team. I'm just putting things together instinctively. And so this caused me to be a little more quiet, and it's not like it's the end of the world, or I'm gonna leave the job if Cousins doesn't do it. No, play. That's not the case. It's, I enjoy Minnesota Vikings football games with Kirk Cousins, and I'm the last person, or not the last, but I mean, I don't have a problem advancing forward with by faith belief. Okay, that's not a problem of mine. It's just I like Kirk. Kirk is good. Things flow a certain way here that have some high end to them, and you know, like what Nordo said about 2 hours and 25 minutes ago. It stuck with me, where if Cousins is not the quarterback and they draft one relatively high, and that young man gets an opportunity, that's exciting.
It is.
That is exciting for sure. Then it needs to work, and if it doesn't work, well, we're all set back at least 5 years.
And there is the possibility of that. Absolutely.
At least 5 years.
And that's,
people will lose jobs.
Yep.
And there fairly is that side of it, you know? I just don't see Cousins going from where he is now to like bad.
No, I don't see that either. So the consistency is there. But again, that's the balancing act. Mm-hmm. I'm going to miss Kirk being here because, like you, I've appreciated the consistency. I've appreciated the elite play at many times, but I am so pumped with the unknown potentially around the corner. If he's gone, that's what it is. That is bold step forward. Mm-hmm. That is making a splash on Thursday of the NFL draft and planting your flag on potentially that next big-time NFL QB. The key to all of that, as it is with all of the decision-making in front of Kwesi, you got to be right. And that will only continue on the conversation that certainly as far as this regime is concerned, no bigger decisions will be made, not only for 2024, but through really the next 5 years, as you mentioned, as the decisions that will be made and cemented over the next week and a half and then leading up through draft night.
And maybe it's Russ takes the snap from Bradbury, pumps, fires deep left side. He's JJ, touchdown.
We might have to get into that tomorrow. The cap situation, just laying out what that whole thing did to the Broncos.
It's unbelievable.
It's insane.
Right. And Nathaniel Hackett and just, yeah.
You know what's up.
Yeah, I'm bored with the Broncos fan line. Spent too much of it talking to people privately at the Combine because of something I said on this radio show. It's just so stupid.
Rocky Mountain Lows.
It's so stupid. But people are tense. It's all good. 9 to noon is not. Thank you very much for listening. Nordo is here to put a wrap on the show.
And the wraps 9 to noon, not the content, just the time slot, are brought to you by Casey's. And the only thing I would tell you, download Casey's Rewards, because you download the app, you're going to get cool deals, food and fuel and all of that. They got the elite pizza, of course, but you can play the rewards matchup, where you enroll in Casey's Rewards, play every day, you match 2 items, and you score free prizes. Casey's. From PFT, pointing to indications to Vikings fans, endless machinations. Kirk is gone, Falcons being guilty of theft. Mood swings, already wondering what's left. Meanwhile, I'm not so blue. I broke my noisemaker, but I brought a kazoo. It's not about excitement for him being gone as much as I'm loving the potential of moving on. So picture this, JJ throw into JJ, or TJ, red zone darts from Drake May. Panics with that deep ball if he passes the health grades. 500 possible moves with draft day trades. So it's the allure of the unknown. Maybe it's mood if the defense is bad, leads blown. But even in a week, as the clouds start to clear, we can pound on the table to bring Christian Wilkins here. You like that?